Hi, and welcome to another video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So, what's been happening since I came home tonight? It is now the 26th, it's after 12 p.m., 12 a.m., I should say, not 12 p.m., 12 a.m. Uh, so, since I came home, again, they've been using family members to target me. Uh, you know, and I'm just speculating here, but because of what's going on, look, I know uh, in terms of the government of what they've done, what they've continued to do, but also um, interesting is that I was reading an article about religious cults in South Africa, right? And people have begun to speak out against these religious cults. Uh, um, and I know living here with my sister, her two kids, uh, my sister's a big time Christian, you know, and the fact also that while I was going through this stuff, you know, part of some of the subliminal messages is converting back to Christianity because I choose to follow, ancient African spirituality, which is the Kemetic belief system. And so a lot of times when I'm walking in the house, they're staring at my chain. And for example, earlier, like I said about with Pam, she came to me, she walked up to me and she's like, nice chain. She's like, that's a very nice chain. And, like I said, I kind of was a little puzzled by it, right? I was kind of perplexed by it. Because again, like I said, I've had this chain for months now. And when I ordered the chain, I had it sent to her house, and I was there when the chain came, and I put it on, and I showed it to her, and everything like that. So how all of a sudden, months later, now she's um, commenting on my chain, right? So again, that was part of the subliminal message, is trying to trying to get me to convert back into Christianity, which again I will never do. Once you understand the truth and once you know the truth, you cannot go back into believing a lie. Because when you believe the lie, you live your life as a lie. At least, in that aspect, in terms of religious belief systems, right? With Christianity and Islam and so forth. So, um, anyway, I attempted to upload the first two videos that I did, and usually when they don't want me to upload videos, they'll do things like turn off my data if I'm outside, and being I'm in the house, they basically is slowing down my internet. The same thing happened over by Pam this weekend. The kids was watching uh, their tablets, they're watching YouTube, and the internet just started acting up. And this was the entire weekend that I was there. Okay, here in this house also, what they would do is that they will um, disconnect my internet, numerous times during the day and night, right? And so all in the sake of trying to prevent me. And again, they do this not to prevent exposure. So anyway, when I uploaded, when the video finally uploaded, okay, this was very short videos. One was like 6 minutes and a couple seconds. The other one was like, I believe, maybe 3 minutes or so, or maybe 2 minutes or so, something like that, right? And that was the second one, maybe 2 or 3 minutes or so. When I uploaded those videos, like I said, it took a while because the first video I said it was going to take an hour to upload. I'm just like, an hour? Why would it take an hour to upload? It's really, really strange. But they both took like half an hour to upload, right? And so when I was uploading it, and I guess they were trying to get me to cancel the upload, but I didn't. They were trying to send me subliminal message, and you know, um, family members talking about, okay, well, bang bang, it is then, just like that, right? While I was uploading the videos, while all the videos was being uploaded, right? They were loud about it too. Bang bang, I guess that's what it is then, you know. And then my sister leaves, and she's like, shaking her keys and stuff like that. You know, she's like, I gotta call the cab so I can get to my destination, and she starts shaking her keys, right? So these are the type of things. Then when the video finished uploading, and I went on the video, and I went to my timeline on YouTube. Okay, all of a sudden I see this video. So I'm like, okay, what is with this video? It says targeted individual, minstrel musical show a must view. And if you read Mark Rich book, not his, well, you can read his book too, which is The Hidden Evil, the elite's covert attempt to, what's the exact title of it, to control the population, something like that, right? But he also has a PDF called The Hidden Evil, right? PDF. And in the PDF, if you read it, it talks about that there are perps who pose and masquerade as TIs, and that they will usually expose themselves when they feel they have the upper hand, right, on the TIs who they befriend. And so that's is a reason why we in the TI community don't really trust one another. Okay. On top of that, the technology that's being used on us can have us target other TIs if you're not aware of it, and you have to always be consciously aware of that, right? So if you're talking to a TI and they may think that you're targeting them, and you may not, and vice versa, right? But then there are those specifically perps, those specific perps who will befriend you, and then when you meet them or you're around them and they feel they have the upper hand, they will start to show their true colors. Now, if what is that they're trying to do doesn't pan out for whatever reason, it could be because of external reason, then they will go back to be playing the role as the TI, right? And try to make you cast doubt in your mind, which is a natural thing, right? So the only way that you can really deal with these sort of perps is, not to be too paranoid when they start targeting you, but to observe them and watch, okay? And then call them out, all right? So anyways, like I said, so I uploaded this video, and then all of a sudden I see this video on my, in the YouTube section of my page, or, it has a whole bunch of videos. So, okay, I'm looking at this video, and the thing that stand out to me was the star. Because early on in my targeting, they will target me with the star symbol again. And here in New York, Macy's, Aveco, Macy's, now it's Target. Now they start to use Target, the Target bags. And I haven't really recorded that yet because, they're doing it in such a way that that if I do record it, it just wouldn't, I won't be able to show what I want to explain, right? So this is something that they'll do. And like I said, when I do these videos, sometimes I don't do videos because, again, the way how they target me, and it's been such a way that I can't really explain it to make people understand what I mean by that, right? So with the Macy's bags and the Target bags that you see frequently, okay, very, very frequently. Like, for example, even when was it, Friday? It was a Friday, Saturday, and I was going by Pam. As I walked in under the block, there was a woman there with a Target bag, and then as I turned on the block that I usually turn on to go to the bus, there was a woman standing in the corner again with a Target bag. But it only happened twice, right? So again, I'm trying to, so it doesn't really show a pattern, right? The way that I want to show a pattern, right? So anyway, so I'm watching this thing and I'm listening to this individual, all right? His name Don, the kick ass, what have you. And being over by Pam, like I said yesterday, this weekend, I could tell that they were trying to keep me there, right? Because this is what they'll do, right? So they'll have her target me, and then I'll target me heavily. There was plenty of noise campaign, the police sirens, ambulances, and such, right? during the day, and then at night they kind of eased up, but they would attack me in a very sporadic way, right? But again, with the remote dual monitoring, and so like I said, I can tell that they were trying to get me to stay. So my daughter wanted me to stay, so I stayed, spent the night. I slept on the couch. Um, then I got up, like I said, her behavior in the morning was good. When I say good, I mean, she was more friendly. She woke up, she came, she gave me a hug, and I'm like, okay, wow, well. And then after that, a couple minutes later, you had sirens going off for like an entire hour. Then her whole demeanor and attitude changed towards me. Now, this is again because they're trying to keep you in this program, because what it is that they want you to accept the conditioning that they're doing to you, right? And again, it's not a positive conditioning, right? Even though they may tell your family, friends, or whoever such and such, right? But it's not, okay? Because again, they have them believing that these technologies don't exist and such, right? So let me just play this video, then I'll try to expunge upon it at another time. I mean, later on in this video, after the video is finished.
You're gonna suck a gorilla dick, grease it down with your saliva. He's gonna pound your ass to oblivion. You're gonna be locked down for life. You're gonna be locked down for life. Fuck you niggas. Jackass.
Okay. All right. So now, when I go and I look at this individual video, I'm not sure if he's being manipulated or what have you, but I know with these things, because again, when you're a TI, it is what they'll do is that they'll try to beat you down with this type of programming, right? Beat you down, and to keep you in this program for the rest of your life, right? So and again, using the psychiatric labeling, okay, in order to oppress, subjugate, and suppress you and oppress you, right? So again, because I guess what happened this weekend, and I guess because they wanted me, because even like if Saturday night, I got on my tablet and I was using the Xbox beta app, right? Which is you can stream games on your tablet or on your phone and such, and I was kind of bored, and I was like, you know what, I got a few minutes because what was I doing? I was baking a cake, right? So that's what I was doing. So I was baking a cake. So while I was waiting, I was like, I gotta, let me just get on the Xbox and play a game for a little bit. But every time, the internet just got messed up, right? And the minute I got on the Xbox app, they started with the sirens. Okay, so for whatever reason, it just wasn't working. The app wasn't working, and it kept saying, "Go home," right? So so this was the every time the app would crash, right? It kept saying go home, right? Trying to send me a subliminal message to go home, to leave. Okay, but I didn't, right? And at least that was what I was thinking, right? And then I started to think about it. I said, well, why would they? I mean, obviously, the way how Pam was behaving is like she wanted me to stay, and now they're sending another subliminal message saying go home, right? But again, this is what they do: send you conflicted message. It's the fight or flight type of thing, and they use different methods in order to, so what I'm looking for here to, no, let me just rephrase it. So they use these type of subliminal messages to elicit, that's the word, to elicit the fight or flight phenomenon, right? And so either way, if I had left, then I still have to come back on a Sunday because again, it's my weekend to see the kids, and I usually leave on Saturday and come back Sunday. Okay, but like again, because I said that, yeah, because of what I was doing, and it was late, so I stayed. But again, using and as TIs, we have to be very careful of what we put out there because again, we're not sure if what we're putting out there it could be uh, you know something that they've put into our mind using these technologies, right? So doing stuff like this is just not a good thing, um, particularly for the TI community. And I've watched other videos of this individual, and when they do stuff like this, to make us look crazy. And again, this is the purpose: is to try to make the TI community look crazy, to discredit us, and to undermine our efforts to expose what's happening, right? And so again, we have to be very, very careful. And like I said, it's funny how all of a sudden this video kind of showed up on my feed. When I'm always on my page, and I've never seen this video, and I've basically seen the majority of the TIs who I subscribe to on this channel, and because again, there's not a lot of TIs on YouTube exposing this stuff, you know. So I usually know the videos that when I see them, and particularly when I have not been on this individual channel for how many years, and all of a sudden it just starts popping up. Because usually when you go on somebody's channel, yeah, they'll show up on your feed, right? On your timeline, right? So again, using that again to send subliminal message about being in this program for life, pound you down sort of thing, and that's what it is. Okay, so let me go through. Actually, you know what? Let me pause this video because uh, okay, so I just wanted to get to this website. It's called psychologicalharassment.com website, and that's the reflection of my phone in my glasses. Okay, so I don't want TIs to get out of uh, um, or start to think that is you know something else. Okay, so what you're seeing in my glasses is just the reflection from my phone. Okay, all right, so let's talk about this: the criminal harassment network routines, strategies, and smear campaigns. Right, criminal harassment network routine strategies and smear campaign that involve psychological manipulation, technology, and uttering threats. Workplace psychological harassment and criminal harassment network strategy, abuse strategy. A workplace psychological harassment strategy, abuse, any retaliation is used to justify termination so that the employee is on the defense when faced with abuse. This would happen to me when I was working. Okay, and so when I complained, all right, they try to make it seem as if it was me, right? So the same strategy of abuse is used by their criminal harassment network, the secret police or mob, and police criminal harassment through technology, focused ultrasound, and energy assault. Excuse me. Excuse me. Energy assault weapons. Different types of radar assaults from neighboring homes. I don't think that's the case. Yeah, sometimes when you go onto these websites, even though they can be very informative, sometimes a lot of it also, I shouldn't say a lot, but some of it may be a person's own interpretation of what is happening, right? But though the technology exists, whether or not your neighbor might be using it or not, could be or could not, then that's a determination that has to be proven. Okay, we can't go by hearsay, right? And to say, well, I have no proof, right? Maybe, I mean, even though what we're experiencing and giving our testimony is proof to us, but it may not be proof to others. Also, your neighbors may not be really let's say the neighbor who may have this technology may not be a neighbor. It just may be somebody who come into the neighborhood just to use these weapons against you. Doesn't make them your neighbor. Okay. Understand that. All right. So, with far as I'm concerned, and far as with my targeting, the technology being used on me and my family, and also my kids and their mother, is the silent sound spread spectrum, as well as psychological manipulation. Uh, when I was going to school, this was was it the last semester, right? To this semester, I used to walk downtown Brooklyn. I would have to get the bus, and I would have to walk and the bus stop was right across from the Brooklyn Marriott. And they were always the person every time they see me come in, they will always look at the Marriott, right, which is a hotel, right here in Brooklyn. And I remember finding certain things about Pam, what she was doing behind my back, about going to a hotel and such, and that's why they kept looking at there, right, trying to make something of a mess. And I think this is where they probably brainwash her, manipulate her, right, twisted her mind against me. Okay, because I remember earlier this year, we just think with her, she just started acting really, really difficult, really um, distant, more so than ever, and just start treating me in not a nice way. Okay, so uh, this is what I believe that's happening, and maybe she's implanted. Maybe they might have taken the opportunity, and I've told her. I said, listen, they will use people to approach you, to talk to you, but the reason why they're approaching you is to get at me, right? To where they can manipulate you into targeting me, or into destroying our friendship and relationship, right? Which is what happened all through our relationship. So, and and I know I am talking about her because, again, where I am in my life, in terms of being a target, the people who I have interaction with, because I'm not in school setting anymore because of COVID, is my family and her. Okay, and also an ex of mine who live in another state, but I conversate and talk to, you know, um, quite frequently. So anyway, right? So let's go over here and we start reading here. So let's go back. So it says, so the secret police are mob and police criminal harassment through technology, focus ultrasound and energy assault weapons, different types of radar assault from neighboring homes, public places, weaponization of space over months, aimed at inflicting long-term serious illness and deadly cancer. And I guess that's where you heard, them leaving me a message with, somebody's coughing, and it was like a long video too. And all the person was doing was just, they were like talking, but then they were constantly coughing, and then they would get a few words and then constantly coughing again. Okay. Um, let's see here. So what was that again? All right. So right, inflicting long-term illnesses and deadly cancer. But the cancer is from the being hit with microwave weapons, right? Microwave radio wave frequency. Okay, that's where you develop cancer from, and you can go and you can research the uh, microwaving of the U.S. Embassy in Russia in the late '60s throughout the late '70s, and you see some of the diplomats that were working at the embassy in Russia develop cancer. Okay. All right. So the targeted citizen is on the defensive again. Any claims of assault results in incarceration through police psychiatric intervention. Any retaliation or violence is used to incarcerate a targeted citizen. Any gun violence is used to advocate gun control. A defenseless population to subjugation through organized crime and tyranny. I'm not going to go as far as what this person has written here in terms of the last things that I've read about advocating gun control and stuff like that, and and that's true. All that is true, but that's I don't want to dive into those areas because I want to remain focused, okay, on my experience in this program and what it is that they're doing, right? So let's talk about the criminal harassment network strategies, and this is Marie France Hirogoyen, right? Abuse strategy. So according to Marie France, uh, uh, I'm sorry, Hyri Goren, psychiatrist. The intent of many emotional abusers is to systematically destabilize and confuse their victims with irrational, threatening behavior that preys on the victim's fears and self-doubt to control and isolate them. Right. So this is, you know, and because of covert, everybody's isolated for the most part, but we as TIs have always been isolated, right? So this is nothing to us. This is, even though we see people losing their mind because they can't do what they would normally do, right? But we as TIs, we have been uh, uh, isolated for the most part, right? So to isolate and control them and ultimately to destroy their identity. Okay, and this is what they try to do with me and every other TI, is to try to destroy our identity, right? And to do it in such a way that you know you would probably need. It's kind of like when somebody's is a witness for, like, let's say, for, like, against the mob, but they put them in a witness protection, change, give them a new identity, and so forth. I've read a long time ago that this from another TI who lived in somewhere in the southwest, and talked about how that the only way for a TI is to have any sort of future moving forward is to basically get a new identity, which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do that. I know who I am, and I'm going to fight for my identity regardless of what it is that they're saying or putting out there. Okay, because a lot of it is false information. It's a lie. It's propaganda, right? And let's say if some of it is true, it is because their manipulation, right? So uh, let's go here. So like I said, to isolate and control them and ultimately destroy their identity, and often emotional abuse builds over a long period, and this is years. I've been in this program for going on 20 years, like 2 decades, right? Okay, so it isn't just months, right? And often emotional abuse builds over a long period of time until it becomes so unbearable that the victim lashes out in frustration and anger, aka hitting back. See, this is what they want, to have you physically react, right? So therefore, because when they plan these things, you better believe there's the police right around the corner. You don't see them, right? But the minute you defend yourself physically from the psychological attacks, the police will come, they'll arrest you, either take you to the psychiatric ward or what have you, or put you through the penal system, right? The court system and such, or the judicial system. Okay, so we have to be aware of that, right? Then this is because they're manipulating our emotions with the technology as well as with the psychological program, right? This coercive persuasion program. Okay, so only to appear unstable and aggressive themselves, which could link to or the cause of. I'll get into that, which is true. Rage, shooting, and rampage. Because you look at Aaron Alexis, you look at Marin Mays, you look at Yvonne Hiller, right? You look at what's the other guy? So there's a Chinese guy, upstate New York, who was also a TI, right? So often emotional abuse built over a long period of time until it becomes so unbearable that the victims lashed out in frustration and anger, only to appear unstable and aggressive themselves. This, according to Haragoyan, is the intent of many abusers to systematically destabilize and confuse the victim with irrational and threatening behavior and preys on the victim's fears and self-doubt. Again, this is just a repeat, okay, of what I've read so far. I think this site needs to be edited because the same thing is being repeated here, okay? All right, so pushing people to violence consists of abuse or inflicting a damage, financial loss, which is what we all as TIs have suffered, homelessness, many of us have become homeless, smear campaigns and criminal records in which they try to, put you in the system. And one thing, when I read this stuff, right, and I research this stuff, and I see, particularly black and brown people participating in stuff against TI is targeting us, I'm saying to myself, why don't these people understand and realize that the same shit is happening to them? The same thing is happening to them. Okay? So why do they continue to participate in it? But again, when you look at cults and the cult leader and the members will do anything to protect the cult leader, including if the cult leader causes harm to others or is engaged in criminal activities, they will protect that cult leader with their life. Okay. So we're dealing with twisted and deranged mentality here, right? For people who are in these destructive cults. Okay, so all right, so smear campaign on criminal records, serious illness and cancer, failing to honor and repetitive humiliation, and using provocation to push people to aggressiveness, looking deranged or enraged or violence. Any resulting violence is used to repress the targeted citizens, and any race shooting is used to advocate. Okay, we read that already. It's just a repeat again. And right then he gives an example about what it is that when he goes to the store and such, right? Or he or she, okay? Um, this is just again part of the program, and and this person who created this website did an excellent job. I read it a lot. I go on there and I share with you guys so you guys can have a better understanding. And of course, it's tough, for people who create these websites. Look like Mark Rich, how he's been attacked and he was homeless, and because it is their job to silence us, right? Who knows what's really going on? Who have our mind's eye wide open and are able to see things in which other people can't. And though they may want to call us crazy or such and such, but this is when you're being experimented on with these technologies, right? And you try to expose it. It is their job to try to silence you. I mean, we're talking about tyranny. This is what people who believe and operate, in tyranny, right? In terms of terrorizing the civilian population in which they rule or control, uh, you know, is expected. If you look at any whistleblower, those within the police department, those within government agencies, those who have exposed wrongdoing by any government agencies, their life have been turned upside down and destroyed. Okay, so we are no different. We may not work with those agencies, but the fact that we're experimentees of non-consensual human experimentation, and the fact that they've developed a method in which to try to silence you and I from exposing what it is that they're doing, okay, is it's the same thing, basically, um, in terms of the method, right? So, we have to understand this, right? I was helping my son with his homework yesterday, Sunday because it's Monday now, and one of the question of his homework was a quote, and the quotes go something like, uh, you know, um, the worries of the people today was the same as the people of yesterday, right? Meaning that the same things we worry about, that we fear, that we feel hopeful on our successes, you know, it's even though we're living in a different time, but it's the same as back then, right? That might be a different time, because the people living in certain generations, as we move along, technology advance, so you know people were amazed. Certain cars came out, certain the elevator, the same thing. We have a new invention, you know, just as we do today, and we all are hopeful as those were yesterday. People were yesterday, and I say yesterday meaning decades old, right? And fear. So one of the things I told him, I said, once you try to make draw a relationship, right? In terms of, for fear, I said, today, they have you fearing, you know, about terrorism, right? Back then, like I say, in the 30s and 40s was Nazism, okay? But, today, in my opinion, terrorism and Nazism has made well, Nazism has made a return, right? So on top of that, we're dealing with two fronts here. We're dealing with terrorism from those who, within the United States, who want to cause other people harm, and outside the United States, who want to cause us harm. Uh, and Nazism has made a big return. And so again, right? Uh, it's the same. The times are different, but basically we have this. It's about the same. You look at COVID. We in COVID. In 1918 to 1920. You had the affluenza flu, right? Okay, so again, we're living through a pandemic, except that we're living in it in modern times. Okay, when they were going through it, in what was their modern time. Okay, so this is nothing new in terms of us being non-consensual human experimentation. It has been done over and over and over again, and except now we're living in a digital age where where we can expose things, for more people out there to see, right? And there's a wealth of information that we have at our fingertips, okay, and so that we can research. Whereas before, you had to go to a library or you had to go to some office to look through documents, and you might not even have access to, But now, you have hackers who are hacking into government agencies, stealing treasure troves of information that shows that these type of programs and these type of technologies being used on people, either to spy, to manipulate, to set up, or what have you. You know, so this is going to be my final video for tonight, and I just wanted to put that out there because again, like I said, it doesn't stop. It moves from, oh, I forgot this too, even earlier today over at Pam, they were using fireworks. Okay, so again, either fireworks or loud banging, but it sounded like fireworks to me. It could have been loud banging to simulate type of fireworks, what have you. But this is something again that it's just they're going to continue to do. They're not going to stop, and so we have to expose it. And for the perps out there looking at this video, yes, I choose right. This is the African uh, symbol of life. Okay, it is our Kemetic spiritual belief system before it was bastardized. And I say bastardized because the people who stole it, okay, the Europeans who stole it, and the Arabs who stole it, okay, uh, didn't understand it. They reinterpreted it in a way that is total opposite to what our ancestors practice. And so when we have these different forms of religion today, they're all about destruction. They love to talk about they're all about love and peace. But like I said, they don't even read these books properly. And if they follow these books, okay, the world would end. Like literally, if they follow the laws of all these books, the world would end. Okay? And it's something that you have to think about. Right? Not what they teach you, but go read those books. Read it over and over. Okay? And then you tell me if that's a good book or those are good books. All right? No matter how you may find good in there, you may say, okay, this is good in there, this is good in there, but the vast majority of things in that book are not good. Okay? So it's just our innate inability to let these religious indoctrination, go from our mind. It is very difficult to understand that. It is a condition, and trust me, I know. Okay, I know. But you know what? Once you become aware and you awaken, you take the opportunity to get rid of them out of your mind. You may not be able to get rid of everything, but you can get rid of a lot of it out of your mind. Okay? So I will see you guys in the next video. and have a good night.